Hi, welcome to Sunset Stitches. My name is Trevor Conquergood, and I'm super happy to have you visit today. It's Free Font Friday here at Sunset Stitches, and the latest free font is called TechBulb A. It's a Canadian thing. TechBulb A. I put the A at the back because it's kind of a neat font. It actually has three different letter A's, and so I'll show you how to do that and how that all works. And during today's presentation, I intend to talk a little bit about thread, how to do closest thread matching with your design. So I think that's something that people often ask about is when I open up a design and it's showing in any thread palette that you don't own, whatever that is, how do you change it? And the good news is there's a one-click button in the Floriani software that you can just swap the palette, and even the free program can do the thread matching like that. So we're going to talk about thread matching today. I will show you guys the free font of the week. It's called TechBulb, and so we'll kind of go in and I'll show just a little tips and tricks about using it, and then we'll talk about thread, specifically variegated thread. That was a question that came up this week, you guys. Like, so not only can you closest match your designs to your thread, but you can see what your designs will look like if you sew them in variegated thread. And if we have all the Floriani variegated thread, in the program, but if you have some other variegated thread, as Connie did, Connie sent me an email and she asked how to do it, and I said I would help her, and I thought it would be interesting. So we're going to learn about that today. How you, if you own a variegated thread and you'd like to add it into your Floriani software, you can learn about that too. So that's the latest font. Anyways, it's called TechBulb, and it's free to download. You can just visit our website. Here's the Sunset Stitches website, right? And you just go where it says embroidery fonts. It's absolutely free for the week. So anybody can come, and it says Sunset Font 15 TechBulb, and there's the button to download the font. Let's just go ahead and download it now, right? So see, it comes into my computer and it's a zip file. Okay, and more on that in a minute, but I'll show you guys how you can add it. And these are all the past ones. If you visit every week, you can collect all of these fonts. Now, these are the ones that have already come out the previous weeks. If you're a member of my classes, then you have access to a font archive, right? Like if I click on this, it'll take me to a page that talks about this font, but then there's a link to get to the font archive. And it tells me that I'll either need to be a member of Trevor's FTCU workshop number 4, or the Trevor Trove, which means basically you join for everything, or my embroidery club season 2 is what. And and if you've already joined, you can just go ahead and log in, and then once you're logged in, and I guess answer the skill testing question first, Trevor, and then you get logged in. And then now when you go to, for example, embroidery club season 2 has access to the font archive, and so now I can download all of them. Yeah, so if you're a member, you have access to all of them already. I also want to point out that there's a couple of things that are like brand new on our website, and the one of them is Digitalk. Did you guys come on Wednesday to see me digitize Winnie the Pooh live? I've been digitizing Winnie the Pooh, and I'm working on the 100-acre wood one right now. But these are the ones that I've done previously, right? Oh, that's the wrong way, Trevor. There's Christopher Robin, and this one's Eeyore, and Kanga. And did you guys know there was I'm lost on my own picture. A hedgehog? Anyway, you're welcome to visit. That was a free presentation. It's every Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's called Digitalk. And if you come on our website, like, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. If you go on to where it says Digitalk, you can watch all the past ones, right? There's the first one. There's the second one. If you just click to watch it. And I had my daughter Loren in as a guest this week. That was so fun. Yeah, and then and that's where you would go to download, right? And that's for members. Once again, if you're a member, if you pay to join for my workshop for all my embroidery classes, then that's how you get all that stuff. Yeah. So before we get right into it, I wanted to sorry. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to my son Nick, who's here with me in the studio today. How's it going, Nick?
Good.
Awesome. If you guys make any questions or comments, Nicholas will be able to help me with that. This was some huge news that came out this week, you guys. Huge news. The 2024 workshop number 2 members retreat. The dates have been announced. And so if you're a member of my workshop 2, and really what you'll find out is I have 4 workshops, right? So for Floriani, there was workshop 1. Then we did, this started in 2015, you guys, right? Workshop 1. This one was 2017, and this one was 2019, right? And we didn't start workshop 4 until 2022. And we're just finishing up in 2024, right? So that's those are my 4 workshops. And when I said the Trevor Trove, it means people that have collected all my embroidery clubs plus all my workshops. The Trevor Trove is like saying all of my discs, right? But what I want you to know, if anybody watches my video and you have any of these discs, but you're not a member of my website and you can't log in, calling all members, please just join with a free account. Go on the website, join for free membership, Sunset Stitcher, whatever, or get the Power Start classes. They're free. And then please just email me and I will add your pass, because we did 5 new classes for workshop number 1 in March and April. And those 5 classes, although they're now over, anybody that missed them can download them and watch them now. I mean, that's the beauty I think that's the wonderful thing about all of my workshops, is that you download it, you put it on your computer, you put it on whatever backup drive you want to. And then you can watch it on your own time. So I'm looking in the chat box right now and I can see some friends. Hi, Elaine from Denver. How's it going today? Nice to see you. It's so great to see the faces, I guess the names anyway, faces, because there's actually faces in the Facebook. Yeah. Hi, Kimberly. She says, hi, Trevor. Nick, did you see that? Nick, Kimber said hi. He's doing the work. I'm just kidding. Of course, he saw that. He put your name up there. We have 2 winners to announce, Nicholas. Every week I give away a little postcard, and Debbie Takashima and Jane Harris Briggs, you were the people that were selected this week to win a postcard. I have I love you cards and apparently a season's greeting card. I think I have more than one. I'll get 2 I love you cards. I have a whole box of these cards. I was making them just to show you guys what I'm talking about. I made these all live. Every one of them was I was amazed. When I started, there was a stack of them like this. They're postcards, and I'm mailing them to my friends for like, comment, share. That's all you got to do, right? And I'll give you a tip. You have way better odds if you comment on YouTube. So when the program's over, if you hop on over to YouTube, make a comment on the thing, because there's hardly any comments on there. So anyway, that's where Debbie won today. Thank you so much, you guys. I have 2 postcards that I will mail out. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say that Pamela and Cassandra from last week, I still have your postcards, but I didn't send them. I don't know why, because I wrote them out and I had them all stamped them, and they've been sitting on the edge of my desk all week. Oh, wait, cover up that. But see, I put my picture in there. So when they show up, that's kind of what they look like. So hopefully I won't forget this week, and I'll send all 4 of them at the same time. Okay. So thanks, Debbie and Jane, for commenting on our posts. Yeah. Thanks, Nick, for helping me. So the dates are set for the 2024. This is the workshop 2. So if you had joined for only workshop 1, then there's 5 new classes. But if you'd also joined for workshop 2, 3 new classes, and those classes are going to be on blending and shading. In other words, we're going to really sort of focus on one topic, 3 classes all on one specific topic, but I'll have lots of examples of adding, blending, and shading. And so, yeah, those are in May. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. That is literally next week. And so the dates are already listed. And if you're a member and you have member access on my website, then you can already go on and click on the download page for Workshop 2 to get your links. I'll try to get an email put together for everybody to get that organized. The Spirograph challenge is next, you guys. If you're a member of Workshop 4, we are all working on Spirograph designs, and that's on May the 7th. So I'm just now receiving designs from all of the members that are doing it. I made some of those in Digitalk class last week. Maybe I'll even make one for you guys later today just to show you how absolutely fun it is. Hi, Nick. Yeah.
Are we giving up the files for the postcards?
So the postcard file, I plan to do a how to make a postcard post video one of these weeks. It's in the list of things that I want to accomplish. And so we're going to do how to make a postcard. And at that time, I will share a postcard file. The I love you. That's a Floriani. You already have this design, right? Because if you're a Floriani software owner, then you got it. You would get that came from the Floriani website. But I will share my postcard file, and I'll teach you guys how to make a postcard, and I'll show you how to put your own designs on the cover of them. And I'll probably even have a collection of all of my ones that we've made here that you could purchase if you wanted to at that time. So we'll see. If you're coming next week to Digitalk, Loren is going to be in class, and we're going to be doing, what am I trying to say? Loren is digitizing flowers. If you haven't visited Digitalk yet, it's every Wednesday afternoon, and I digitize and talk about it. It's not necessarily a class. It's more of a talk show. But these are some of the things that we have done so far in the Digitalk class, you guys. I'm just showing you some of the pictures of it. But we were working on Spirograph last Tuesday, and Loren came as a guest. That was kind of fun. Hey, Nick, having Loren in studio. But so this Wednesday coming, Loren will be the digitizing flowers. She's going to show us how to take a photograph and do kind of a little sketch a stitch of a flower like that. So that's what you guys can look forward to coming up, I guess, next week. Or this coming Wednesday. So that's all my news. The Workshop 1 retreat was so fun. Look what one of the members made. I gave a prescription because Workshop 1 members retreat was all about the basics, and we were focused on learning, mastering the basics was the topic. And I said, I have a prescription, if you're going to do this workshop and it's a month long, I wanted you to spend 15 to 20 minutes every day on your Floriani software. You can watch the videos, you can try things, you can redo, basically just make it playtime. It was not, you weren't allowed to be doing your Christmas presents. It was all about exploring, but it had to be every day. That was the key, was to set aside a month and go, this is the month I'm going to master the basics. I'm going to do Trevor's 5 basics classes, start with my Power Start classes. Those are the free ones. Anybody can take those. But then I got this from Jane. Wasn't that nice? She made me a little embroidery design. That's my prescription for y'all there. So there's your prescription. If you want to master your software, there's your prescription. I love that. Okay. Sorry, I'm just goofing around. Hi, Candy, how you doing today? I see Candy said I hope to make it there on Wednesday. And if not, I know you will catch the replay, but it's always great to see you, Candy. And everybody that's visiting here, I'm just noticing some of the names that are in here. So thanks for helping me out, Nick, Kay, and Kimberly. So if you have any questions, you guys, we have a little bit of time today, you can ask them. But what I wanted to talk about was thread matching. And so I'm going to get you to bring the software or the picture a little bit bigger, Nick, and I'll bring onto the screen my software. And don't forget to remind me, attaboy, put my thing on, right? You're supposed to remind me. Okay, so that is what I wanted to say first of all was this is the new font, right? If you want to create with it, you would just click on your text tool and it'll put down the words my text. That is the last font that I use, so it automatically comes up for me. But of course, you'll just find it in your font gallery. It's called TechBulb A. And it's in all uppercase font, so there's no lowercase. So you have to type things in uppercase to be able to use it. And it shows here, if I just click on this question mark, it'll right there, it'll show you the minimum, suggested minimum and maximum, 10 millimeters or 45, almost 2 inches, or kind of just under half an inch would be a good size for it. But of course, we always talk about how to get bigger and smaller from that with our properties. But that's the sweet spot, is right in that 1 inch range. It's going to work very well. You're just going to type out whatever words you want. Say okay. Of course, I forgot it's all uppercase, right? I just told you that. But, it happens to all of us, right? So I got it in all uppercase. Now I can see how it looks. And the first thing I do is usually put it down, and then just kind of look visually to go, how does the spacing look? Is there anything that needs to be? And that one seems pretty nice and balanced to me, but there are times where I want to right click and go edit text. And sometimes when there's a V, you might need to like move the O a little bit closer or something like that. In general, you can do that. So all that said, if I wanted to make this small, I just come to the size here, and I said you could probably make it as small as 10. The main thing is, because it's quite a long font, it's still going to be quite a long, and even at 10, it's almost 5 inches long here. Let's make this in inches for everybody. So I think if I make it much smaller, the main concern is the column width. So how wide is the column right now? And it says that from here to there is almost 0.09 of an inch. Well, I need to do that in metric to be sure of what that means. So I'm just going to check it. And it says 2.2. Well, I know that 1 is kind of like the absolute minimum. And I usually try and shoot for more like 1.5. But I think the point is that I could probably still make this smaller. So 10 was, what I said was we kind of gave a suggested minimum. But if you went down to, I don't know, let's try 6 and click apply. So it's only 6 millimeters tall. But yet still, if you get in and measure, I think this would be successful because each column is almost 1.5 millimeters tall. And there's still space in between them, and I think that's the main thing is you can only get sort of so small. Because if I said that this column needs to be 1.5 and it's the letter E, and this one needs to be 1.5 and that one needs to be 1.5, there's like 4.5 worth of column there, you got to save a little something for the space. So can you see where 5 and 6 is kind of your smallest size that you're going to get? So that was my first tip, was just a little bit about kind of getting success with it. But I said we talk about matching colors today. That's one of my sort of tips that I wanted to bring. And it was Connie that really kind of got me going on it, because I don't think there's really anywhere that it says how to do a variegated thread. I mean, it's cool that we have them, right? Because notice down at the bottom, I've got this big color palette, and I can just kind of click to scroll through all the colors. Or I have a pop-up palette that allows me to, see them kind of all at one time. I can expand it and make it as big as you want to, so you can see your whole color palette kind of thing. But the point here is, and select something and choose a color, whatever color that you want. Notice down at the bottom, the second row shows the color that is selected. Like, so if I made another embroidery and made that one say, I have to go all caps, Nick. Excuse me. And then I wanted to change its color. I would just click on the color palette, and notice now I have, red and orange. So the second bar shows the colors that are in your design. And why don't we just bring in an embroidery here, Nick? Let's go to the library and look to the Digitalk, classes, right? And there's Digitalk number 2. And so there's the Winnie the Pooh one, and here's one of these cool kind of like spirograph ones. So I bring this in, and all the colors come with it. Can you see now I have like yellow and blue and green are all kind of colors of this design. And so the cool thing about that is if you want to match them. So I'm just moving that out of the way, but here I'll stop. for example, if you're see, it's all listed in Floriani colors, but if you don't own Floriani thread, that might not help you, and you might be like, well, I use the and what brand would you like to talk about? Anybody can give me an idea, but there's quite a large list of all the ones that you could choose. And for that matter, if you use one that we don't have and you can get some information, I'll help you make it, and we'll put it in there. You can make your own thread palettes, is the cool thing about it, right? So if I wanted to choose a thread palette that was different, for example, the Floriani variegated and mixed thread palette, click on that. And notice down at the bottom now, all my colors have changed. The colors in the design didn't change. We didn't change the colors in our design. We just changed the palette down at the bottom. And so if I, switch to, before I do variegated, I'll come back to variegated. If I switch to, for example, the Quilter Select thread, I've got all the beautiful cotton thread, the Perfect Cotton Plus thread from Quilter Select. Now my color palette at the bottom is the Quilter Select colors. But if I take, for example, my thread on the side is still listed in Floriani. So two things I can do. I could do it one color at a time. In other words, if I just click on the Floriani color right here, blue, it says 372 Blue Pacific. If I click on that, it will find and highlight the closest match in the color palette below. And it's showing me this one here, the Quilter Select Ocean color being the closest match. So I could change it to any kind of color that you want this is kind of a smaller color palette, so it only has like 40 colors in it. If I change to another large color palette, in other words, Floriani has 360 colors in the palette. Well, another large color palette could be, for example, Madeira would have a large color palette. So if I go to the Madeira, then if I select my blue, it will find an even closest match, right? Because there's almost an exact match in that thread brand. So basically just click on it and notice now that the red still says Floriani, but the blue says Madeira Classic. And literally, if I was to do a printed run sheet right now, it would list both Floriani and Madeira colors on my kind of run sheet like that. So yeah. So the other thing is, how do you closest match the whole design, Trevor? Like, what if I just want to do one click for the whole thing? And that's this button here. So down at the bottom in the sort of window, there's the pop-up palette. This is the Select a Palette button, where you could click to choose a palette. But the one above that is on the same row as the actual colors of your thread, that one, if you click on it, it's another palette selector, but this time it's not changing the color palette at the bottom. Remember, I set my color palette at the bottom to Madeira, but if I come up right now and I just choose, for example, Janome, it will instantly convert our entire design to Janome, but it did still leave the color palette as Madeira. So the point is, if you want to change the color palette, it's this button where you could change your color palette to Janome, but this one here is the match designed palette, and I could choose any thread palette independently from the one that I have displayed at the bottom, is what I'm saying. So if I go Jenny Haskins, I just click, and now instantly my entire design has been closest match to Jenny Haskins colors. Yeah, so it's really easy to closest match a design. Like if you just, let me just start from the beginning. And by the way, in the program, the properties box, in the program preferences, see here, it says color match on loading, and I've got it set to Floriani. Well, if you don't own Floriani, but you own Madeira, you could change that, be like, just color match all my designs to Madeira. When I open, of course, I'm the opposite, right? I've got all the Floriani poly. So I want, no matter what, when you save the designs into a format like PES, maybe the colors are matched to the Brother palette. When I open them, they automatically turn into Floriani because of that, is what I'm saying. So no matter how I open them, if I come to my gallery and let's just go looking at, these are designs from Trevor's Embroidery Club, right? And so there's a whole beautiful kind of collection of them in here, hundreds of designs. And a lot of them have lots of colors, right? So you click and drag to bring in this like little fashion patches kind of collection or whatever. And they're all actually listed here in the Janome color palette, right? So if you want to quickly match them over, just come to here and say Floriani Poly, and instantly they're all in Floriani Poly or whatever palette you want to. If you're like, actually, I just bought that, new box of Quilter Select, or maybe you've got the cool embellish matte thread or whatever you've got, right? So if I go to embellish matte thread collection, it will closest match them all to the embellished matte thread collection. So yeah, that's the one. Now, the other thing I'd said I would do today, Nick, was variegated. Yeah. So is there any questions about colors, how to make what I wanted to show is there's a tool to create. You can either edit your color palettes or you can create them. And just imagine that you own more than one brand of thread. Like, doesn't everybody own more than one brand of thread? I know I sure do. Just look around. And so if you wanted to, you could create a thread palette that actually matched the thread that you owned. If you bought 100 spools of Floriani and 100 spools of Glide, you could make one thread palette that had all 200 spools on it. It's totally possible. So I thought I'd show you guys how to do a little bit like that. And then, Kay says, I just joined for Workshop 4 and I have the ability to join the Workshop 2 retreat. Workshop 2 and Workshop 4 are actually totally separate, Kay. So if you want, you can email me more, but there is special pricing for anybody that's doing Workshop 4 that wants to join any of the past ones. The main reason for doing the past ones is actually because there's a lot of people that would have bought these workshops, and at the time they would have registered with me and they would have got the emails. All the classes were sent by download. So there's a whole collection of classes that are part of this workshop. And when I created my new website, we added all of the past classes to the website. But of course, so many of the members have never, don't know about the new website. And so I'm really trying to encourage people that have joined these, that there is new content for you guys if you join the website, right? So come on over. Anybody who's new and didn't do Workshop 1, 2, and 3, I think that Workshop 4 is plenty and you probably have your hands full anyway. But if you want to join and you're doing Workshop 4, I do have special pricing that's just for members of Workshop 4. Send me an email or check your email because I usually try and mention it there. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to go. So the last one I wanted to say was how to create a thread palette, and specifically for Connie, how to do a variegated thread. So if you don't know what a variegated thread is, let me grab a spool here. Sorry, I just have to stand up and walk over to the wall where the variegateds are. But that is a variegated thread. It has more than one color on the spool, right? This is variegated thread number 30. You can see the number on the top. And essentially, when you pull it out, it'll go white and then red and then blue. That's what this one, I think, has. Maybe 2 blues. I'm not sure exactly. But if you've got a variegated thread and you were like, I would love to add that to my collection, let me show you how. So will you bring me big again, Nick, for on the screen? So I'm in my software now, and I know I said that there is. So if I just change my thread palette, there is the Floriani variegateds are done, right? So I can literally select the ice cream cone color and say, what would that look like if I used a pink variegated? And then if I zoom in, I can get an idea of, oh, hey, that's kind of neat, right? If when I used, what about the egg, would that, and then, okay, it's all grouped together. So let me click on the ungroup button, and that will allow me to select these areas by kind of section like this. And, you could be like, oh, what would it look like if I did yellows? I don't know. Yeah, or it needs to be more white. So I don't know. Is there one that's more white? Well, kind of not really, but you can see what I'm saying, right? It's like there you got your blue stripy one or your so variegated thread can be a lot of fun. And I think sometimes people have trouble with it because they don't get the results that they imagine. And so whatever you select, if you imagine it in a variegated, you can check it on the software to see what will it look like if I use it in a variegated, right? And these are 3 different sizes of the same text. And notice how the bigger the column is, the kind of the faster the stripe happens. And like, if you make a fill, like if I just make an oval kind of thing, and I fill it with thread, and then I do it in that same purple thread, you'll see that stripe happen much, much more quickly, because it's really just about so much distance of thread, right? It's like every 10 inches, it might change color, or it might be every 4 inches. It might be 4 inches of white. This one here looks like it's got, like, you can almost see how the white, then it goes to pink, then it goes to maroon, then it goes to a little bit more pink, and then white. Excuse me. Excuse me. So there's pink in there twice, it looks like, if you look at the repeat of it. So how do you make this all, Trevor? If you want to make your own, and it's great that I've never even seen another software that has variegated thread. Probably exists, but ours was the first one I ever owned that had it. But not only that, if I go to the tools drop-down menu, so that's where this adventure will start. You go to your drop-down menu and you go to your thread chart creator, and there are great videos in the RNK Software Club about how to make a thread chart. But generally speaking, you can open one or you can make a new one. If you click open, it's going to bring you to the ones that already exist, right? If you're like, well, I want to make my own copy of the, variegated thread, I kind of made a second one here. I'll just click on it and open it. So now I actually have, here, that's in the way. Sorry, my button. This, an open palette. And you could open any palette you wanted to. If you want to change the anchor thread, just select it and say open. And here it all is. That said, if I say new, I'm starting a brand new one, right? We'll call it the, whatever. What was the TechBulb chart? So we're making a new thread chart and we're calling it TechBulb for no reason. But now that we've made it, we would want to import a color. So I say import. And when I say import, I then have to pick a color chart again. Where do you want to? Oh, okay. So it's a Floriani cotton thread. I'm going to import it. But then I also went to the store and bought some of the Floriani poly. And I know that I got the, that color right there. But I also bought this one, and I can build my own little thread chart. And then you're like, but I also got that Hemingway thread. And for them, I got the greens and whatever it is. And so now I've created my own thread chart. It's called TechBulb chart, whatever, but it has 4 colors in it. And if I save this right now, just notice that, do you want to save it? I say yes, and I close. I can come to the bottom and pull up my own custom thread chart. So what do we call it? The that'll be under T, TechBulb chart, right? There it is. So you can make your own thread charts very quickly and easily. So Trevor, you didn't show us how to make the variegated one. Okay, so the last thing we can do then, we'll go back in and go to the tools drop-down menu and go to where it says thread chart creator. And so Connie, this was the part, Connie made a little thread chart and she put 5 colors in it, right? Like this. And then I made the one extra for her to show her how to do it. So here we've got a thread chart that has 5 colors. So she said, these are the closest 5 colors. Because I said, Connie, I don't know. You're going to have to tell me what's the closest thread shade. So she went in and picked thread colors from her thread chart. So these are probably, I think she said it was from, I had that written down. It's sulky. It's a sulky thread, and it's a sulky variegated, right, that we were creating. And so these are the 5 colors. And I said, well, measure it. How far is each one? Like literally measure it. And let me show you how I do it. I've got a picture. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's my desk, right? Like that's the cut, that's the cutting board. And I've taken my variegated thread, and I found the beginning of a color, and I put a piece of tape on it, and then I pull it out until I find the beginning of the next color, and I put a piece of tape on it. And I pull it out until I find the beginning of the next color, tape it, 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 until you find the repeat. Oh, there's that long red. There's that long red. What's in between? Oh, okay. So it goes from the red to this color to that color to this color to that color to this color, and then back to red again. So it was just a matter of measuring each one of those distances. And I believe this may need to be in metric. Let me see, because I did it in metric. So here's how you do it. If you wanted to make a new one, so you say add a color. Instead of importing a color, you say add a color. Now you have your little sort of box. And if you knew the RGB, you could come in and be like, it's 35 and 35 and, whatever numbers that you want, 129, or something like that. Oh, 255. And you get a number, a color. But if you want to do a variegated, you click on this button here. So the point is this, I chose it and I made it blue, but now I'm going to click on variegated, and blue is the first color. So, okay, it's got blue in it, but then it goes to pink. So I click plus, and this is the plus one right here. And so if I double click on it, it allows me to tell it, what I can just, if you want to just go closest match to your, a color palette like this, you can. Or you can go to custom and pick from your whole kind of rainbow histogram, or you can type in the RGB. So if you know the RGB numbers, you can just type them in. So what I did was because Connie had sent this to me, I just wrote down the RGB for this pink. I wrote down the RGB for this red. How did I know what they were? Well, because I clicked on them and it says right here. So I just let the software tell me what they were, and I wrote them down so that I could write them in here, to make it. Otherwise, you could go, well, it was kind of like this pink. And so I say, okay. And then how far is it, right? That's the part you have to add here. So, I see in millimeters. So 8 inches is 200. So it did 200 of that. And then the pink, it did, 4 inches. So you do 100. And then you go plus, and then the next color was green. And so you pick your green and you say, okay. And you say, how far? Oh, that was also 100, and you just keep measuring and adding the colors as you need to until you get the whole repeat. And that one was, 200 again, and whatever it was, you can make your own totally. So there, I just made one. You can kind of get a sense. It's got a bunch of blue, a little bit of pink, a little bit of green, bunch of red. And we've now created it. So if I click save, save that 5 colors plus variegated palette that I made for Connie. Now it has 2 variegateds. And so now if I come down to the bottom and I actually pick that thread chart, there's the new color that we just made, and we could see what it would look like. So if you own a variegated thread and it's not a Floriani one, you could add it. Of course, if you just go out and buy the Floriani ones, you don't have to do anything. You can just choose our color palette, right? Because we've got the whole Floriani, and then you might own one that's not Floriani, but you go, well, it's pretty close to that orange one, and that'll give you a closest, it gives you an idea of what they're going to look like. So to me, the fact that you can do all this closest matching and see what your designs look in any brand of thread, and then when you do your printed run sheet, it actually lists the actual threads that you're using. That's pretty cool stuff. What do you say? What do you guys say in the comments box? Does anybody think that's cool stuff? Or did you always want to know? Did anybody always want to know how to do a variegated thread and not know how to do it? Connie's here. She said, thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome, Connie. That was for Connie. She was the one who wrote to me and asked for help because she was doing a very, very cool spirograph design for the challenge that's coming up, right, Connie? I got it printed here, and it's very cool. She did a cool doily. Yeah. Hi, Donna. How's it going today? And Phyllis, it's so nice to see you guys. Yeah. So there's so many amazing things that when you try and imagine the Floriani software, there's so many things you can find out about it. Who knew that you could create your own variegated threads? I don't forget about creating them. I just thought it was cool that you could see what the designs were going to look like in it, right? I mean, isn't that just the thing that you don't know how they're going to really look? So yeah, anyway, you guys, it's Free Font Friday here at Sunset Stitches, and the latest one is called Tech Bulb. But if you've been around, or if you're a member, you might have last week's and the week before and the week before. And I feel like that guy on the music video with the messages or whatever. But yeah, these are all it's quite the collection that you made for me, Nicholas. Yeah, he's so You're so bashful over there. I got to get a camera and a microphone and put them out there. So, because you guys would love Nick, wouldn't you? Say hi to Nicholas, everybody. He, anyway, I want to, all the kids that are in our family are very talented, and Nicholas is certainly one of them. And of course, Loren is too. But I want to give a shout out before I forget to my daughter Reese. It's her birthday on the weekend. She's going to be 17, grade 11, going into grade 12. Do you guys remember grade 11 going into grade 12? What a great time in life that was, huh? Reese is also a digitizer, just so you know. She has not managed to digitize anything for Sunset Stitches yet, but she has made some cool things for herself and on occasion maybe for her boyfriend. And anyway, they're saying that they appreciate you, Nick, for helping with your dad. Aw. Yeah, me too. It's great working with Nicholas. He's become a very good digitizer and gets better every day. So, but it's been a couple years now that he's been digitizing, like, you know, at least part-time, if not sometimes full-time. So yeah, Reese is going to have a bunch of friends over on the weekend, and so I'll have a herd of kids here, but they're not really kids. They're all pretty grown-up looking people nowadays. But I'll get Reese in here as a guest on the Digitalk class sometime, and Lorna too. There's a lot of things that Lorna's such a talented artist, and I know that she'd have a lot of things she could share too, with, especially for the drawings. Oh my goodness, she picked it up right away with the Winnie the Pooh one. And I said, well, you know, Mr. Shepherd did draw that, but it was my interpretation of it. And so I made a small edit to the head, to the part in the hair there. Lorna just picked it up right away and said, I don't know, something, it kind of looks like he's got a big ear on the side of his head, Trevor. I said, well, I didn't draw that, Lorna. That's obviously Edward Shepherd or whatever it was that drew the Winnie the Pooh drawings. But that said, I did. I you know, it wasn't because in my interpretation of the design, I connected a couple of the lines, and that's and that's kind of, you know, sometimes I think, oh, I don't want to have a little island just for that little bit. I'm going to connect it. And a lot of times you can totally do that and it doesn't affect the design at all. But in that particular case, we found that if I actually just kind of made a separate, you know, so that the part could be there and then another little part, it looked way better. So I edited the design. How's that? I'll re-release it in the download. But all that said, the original one's pretty awesome too. I don't know that it's kind of fussy, but yeah, the point is everybody's got great comments. So it's so great to have you guys into Sunset Stitches on Friday afternoon. We always look forward to it. It's kind of the wrap up of the week. And I'm excited for the weekend because I'm going to be doing some quilting. I don't know if you guys are quilters, but usually when I get kind of fun time for myself on the weekend, I get my fabrics out, and Lauren and I quilt. We're doing the Quilter Select block of the week. If you guys haven't heard about it, I'm sorely behind there on week 17, but I think I just worked on 14 or something like that. So I got to catch up. So fingers crossed, maybe this weekend will be a good time to get a couple of blocks done. Yeah, anyway, you guys, I don't see any questions coming in, just some nice comments. Lynn said they came in late, but that's okay. What is the product for patches? Good question. I mean, I have 4 different patch techniques that I do, Lynn, and so it depends on which one, but I'm going to guess, like, just jump right out there, and I think I have one of my patches handy, yeah, because I'm going to be going to Cleveland in end of May. It's coming up about a month from now. And we're going to be making patches. And the Stitch and Shape is the product that I love to sew on. And then you can just cut it out. So it's like a white felt. In this case, I've mostly stitched thread on top of it, but you can just see a little bit of it. You'll always see that little bit on the outside, right? This is one where I'd got less fill. I kind of took all the fills out and just left the borders. But that's just one way. I mean, there's 4 different methods that I like to use for making patches. And that's also something that we will do in one of our weekly, Digitalks in the future, some patch making. We're working our way up to that, but we'll do postcards first. I think that's because I'm fixing on doing a Winnie the Pooh postcard here. And Yeah. Suzanne said she was gifted with over 100 spools of embroidery thread from Ad Melody. Is the process the same? Listen, if you've got thread from a thread supplier and you approach, just write to the supplier and ask for their RGB thread charts. Normally they'll have a file that might be an SVG or not an SVG, a CSV, like a data file. You want some comma separated would be good, but PDF, I guess, is okay, but you'd have to type it out then, right? You want it data. What you want is the name, the number, and the RGB for every thread. And then it's easy to add. You can make your own, really. In fact, if you actually get it in a spreadsheet, I can make it automated. You don't even have to go into the thread chart. We can learn to do it. And I could do that another day for you guys. Thanks, Nick. But you can if you reach out, because I do at times reach out, but it's better if a consumer wants it. It's better if they do it, because they'll get it, and then they can send it to me and I'll help them with it, or I'll just show you how you can do it yourself. But if you want everybody to get it, if you send it to me and I can put it in the software, I will. I don't mind. Most thread companies probably don't mind that they give it out if you ask for it, is what I'm saying. So if there's a new brand and we don't have it, this has happened in the past where somebody has sent me a file and I've been able to get it added. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not out there looking for a new thread myself, but if you happen to be doing it, then send it to me. Yeah. Suzanne was gifted some, so I get it. That would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Kay got it from a friend who when I bought her 550E. Hey, we got a 550 here in the studio too. I feel bad for it. It's like, honestly, it's like that machine that nobody's using because there's too many ones that are brighter and shinier. And it's not that the 550E isn't bright and shiny, because it's got quite a large sewing area. But we just don't need, I have two single head multi needles back there that get most of the work, and then a couple of kind of top of the line ones over here that sometimes I use too. And so I don't know what that 550 is doing. It's on the other side. You can't see it, but it's just over behind. If that big white light wasn't in the way, there's a 550E that way. And then if you kept going, there's a mini long arm quilt thing over there. But the studio gets exponentially more messy if we go that way, you guys. Thread and it's my basement, right? Remember, people still live here. Well, welcome to Sunset Stitches, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping in this afternoon. It's great to chat with Kay and Suzanne, and Ibby's here, and she said she finally made another live. Thank you. We're doing it twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. If anything changes, and by the way, if you want to know where to catch Trevor, would you bring up the website again, Nick? Or bring up my desktop, I guess is what I mean. I'll bring up the website there. So I'm on Sunset Stitches. I made a new page. It's called Dates and Times. If you click there, you'll never miss a class, because I've got, there's the workshop 4. There's the next 3 workshop 4 classes. There's your next 2 Digitalk classes. There's the links to the Facebook and the YouTube. This is today's Free Font Friday, and that's next week's, and I'll update this later today with the the one after that. And there's the work. Now, this is Workshop 1 Members Retreat, but that is complete now. But it's Workshop 2 Members Retreat is now the current one that's going to be starting in May 2nd. And and then you can catch me live and in person if you want to go to the Needles and Pins website. That you can attend one day, or you can do all 3 if you want to, but that's where I'm going to be. So yeah, thanks for asking about that, you guys. And so I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Nicholas, Suzanne is saying thank you to us, and you're very welcome, Suzanne. I will go on to Facebook later on this afternoon and reply to the comments and make sure that I read them all, because I don't always see everything when I'm talking live. But just know that we really appreciate you guys when you comment and you visit. And besides, that's how you can win one of these great postcards, right, that I'm sending out. So I'm sending out I love you postcards this week. I've got them here. I'm just trying to pick one of them up. And I am working on a new postcard for Winnie the Pooh. and we will be doing a live, and we'll do a recipe box about how to do your own postcards and teach it again. It's one of my favorite things to teach, how to make postcards, but everybody loves it because it's got embroidery on the front of the card. There's embroidery on the back of the card, and yet it looks like it's all one piece of paper. And how'd you do that, Trevor? That's the magic of this project, right? Is the the adhesives that we use, and how you can literally put these through the post. Just put a stamp on them, and I got 2 of them here with that are all stamped up and ready to go. I've lost them now, but they're in here for Cassandra and Pam from last week. So anyway, you guys, hope you comment and win one this week. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. But we sure appreciate you guys visiting. If you have any questions for me outside of this, just post them on my Facebook or send me an email. Trevor@sunsetstitches.com. But hope to see you guys in the Workshop 2 retreat that starts next week. And I hope to see you guys doing the workshop number 4 Spirograph Challenge. I hope you guys are all working on Spirograph, because let me tell you, what time is it? If you want to spend one more minute, I'll make one for you guys. I still got quite a few friends on live with me here. So let's take another couple secs, Nick. Bring me live one more. Bring my screen up again, Nick. And I'll go back onto the software. You guys, this has been so much fun. But hey, and that's a good tip too. I can give you guys how to see your spirograph in variegated, because it's not, there's a trick to it, I guess is the point. So what's spirograph, Trevor? Well, remember the old, you all had one when we grew up, right? We all had one. You could make circles, you could make ellipses, you could make whatever shape you want. But you would put it in that circle thing and draw with your pencil and go, well, these are inspired by. I'm going to take a circle and use a circle layout. So when you put a circle around a circle, it doesn't really look like spirograph unless you put enough circles together. And then absolutely it starts to look like spirograph. Right here, I got 35. 30. Let's get all the way up to 48. There's 48 circles. Now I can play with the size of the circles and make them bigger and change the pattern and, really do something kind of like crazy with it. Whenever you're happy with what you've created, you say, okay. So there we just created a spirograph. I mean, that was easy. What if I take like another shape, right? Like, and I did the bird last time. Which bird was it? But let's do the black cat spirograph. I mean, heck, who doesn't want a black cat? That one there, black cat spirograph. What would that look like, Nick? I don't know. We've never tried before. But if we click on this, now here, it'll be easier. Let me unfill it so that you can imagine it as like a run stitch embroidery design. You take your kitty cat and you click on your circle tool. And now you can see the cat's kind of rotated around a circle 6 times. I don't really see anything at the moment, but if I change the angle, the cats kind of move around a little bit. And if I just hold it, they'll sit there and dance for me. But what I'll do is maybe the cat's a little big. So I'm going to make the cat smaller. I'm just pressing 50, there's 40%. Now when I make the cats dance around, they're more, oh yeah, I can see it. There's like literally 6 little kitty cats there, and that's kind of cool. But then, and you can kind of start to see, oh, there's like a spirograph thing happening with cat bums sticking out of it. But then you can turn on the number of them. Oh, so if I do 24 cats, it's the 24 cat spirograph. Wow, right there. It's amazing already. I haven't even played, but wait, play with the angle and watch it dance. I mean, this is just crazy what it looks like and what you can create. And every one of those angles would make another really interesting something, but if you get it to a point where you're like, oh, wow, I want to stitch that, say, okay. So now you've got your embroidery. It might be really large. Like this is almost, let's do it in inches. It's almost 10 inches right now. But I could resize it down to be, if you want to do it at 4 inches, then make it 4 inches, or come to your properties box and type in exactly what size you want. If you want it to be 3 inches, type in 3 inches. So now you've got your spirograph set to the size, but we haven't embroidered it yet. It's still just artwork, right? So what I have to do is click on Run Stitch. and it will convert it all into embroidery. Now, right now, it's 24 kitty cats that all embroider and then connect to each other. But if you look really closely, they jump in between. It's like it does one kitty cat, trims the thread, does the next and the next. If you don't want them to trim, if you're like, well, why are they trimming? They're basically touching each other. Can't we just connect them? Yes, of course we can. We need to ask for a little help with that. So I will select all of the cats because there's 24 cats in there, and it's the tools right here. Optimize the entry and exit point. So it will learn the best place to start cat number 1 and the best place to finish cat number 1 and the best place to begin cat number 2. So now if you look in there, there's no more jumps. It's literally perfectly pathed together embroidery around each cat. Oh my goodness, you guys, it was so much fun. We made some really amazing designs. This was the photographs of them, if I can find them here. Yeah. That is actually just a one color spirograph with a variegated thread stitched on black. This is a 2-color one where I do them in multicolors. Anyway, this is the challenge for, the current challenge for members is spirographed. And so if everybody should be working on them and send them in, and so I can select 1 to 12 and make those be the variegated. I was going to say about the variegated, the trick, if I try here, let's do, these ones aren't actually thread yet, so let's just make them embroidery. So quickly click on that and then make them optimize the entry exit so it's all nice and connected, no jumps. Can you see when I chose I chose a blended thread, so it does blue, gray, blue, pink, blue, pink, blue, pink, blue, pink. How cool is that, you guys? I mean, but if you want to see the thing of it is, it will start with their bigger circles, and it'll start over for every circle, because technically you have 48 different circles. If you want to see a design as a variegated from beginning to end, what you actually need to do is save it. Like here, let's save this as file and save as, and save it as like a stitch format, like PES or JEF or DST, whatever, some stitch format. You can see, because when I make it, I actually have 48 circles, but when I open the stitches, if I just go to, where did I save it to? I didn't pay attention. If I click on file and save as, I saved it in with the TechBulb stuff, right? So if I click open, and that's right where I am in the TechBulb stuff, I guess it's called Design for PES. So it comes in like it's all one color, this right here. But now if I tell it that it's going to be a purple variegated, you can really see what the effect's going to be if you sew that in a purple variegated. So very, very, very cool. Let's see what the kitty cat would look like in variegated. So there's the kitty cat. Let's try the black to gray. Actually, that's kind of like a camo one. Gray, gray, gray. Yeah, same idea. So, you can try the different ones and see what would make you happy, but I'll try another one. So let's grab the cat and do oranges, maybe, something like that. And so you get an idea of how unique it can be. So all that said, you guys, that's the spirograph bit extra for today. I thought, why not go over it one more time? It's been kind of fun. And we're kind of coming to the end of spirograph month here at Sunset Stitches. So I'll probably do another couple spirographs next Wednesday. And then the following week is our challenge, you guys. So yeah, anyway, thanks so much to all your wonderful comments. Suzanne says she's looking forward to the retreat. And I appreciate you, Suzanne, so very much. Yeah. So to everybody that visited today, thanks so much for attending live. And if you come by later and you watch the recording, be sure to drop a comment so we know you were here. If not, we'll see you guys next week. Until then, thanks so much and bye for now.